Most New York pizzerias are totally easy to go to, but there are some pizzerias that are exceptionally hard to get into. They have very long lines or complicated reservation process. Use this video as your resource, the 3 New York City pizzerias that are hardest to get into. First up is Rubirosa. They open their reservation system 1 week in advance at midnight. But there's only 40% of their seats that are reservation. The other 60% are for walk-ins. So you can just walk up without the reservation, just don't count on that, especially on a Friday night or a Saturday night. On those busy nights, they cap the wait at 3 hours. They put you on a maybe list. You might get in or you might not. Next up is Lucali. This is the place I get the most questions about. The only way you can get an advance reservation here if you are the New York Yankees, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Ed Sheeran, Paul McCartney, probably. But if you're a normal human being, you gotta line up before they open doors. Lucali opens at 5 o'clock, but they start taking names down for tables at around 4 o'clock. And when it's colder, they do tend to start taking the names down a little bit earlier, and they will start letting people sit down a little bit before 5 o'clock. If you show up to Lucali after 5 p.m. and you see no line, that means that all the tables are already reserved for the night and people are at a local bar waiting for their time. But just keep in mind, Lucali opens at 5 p.m., close around maybe 10, 11-ish, and they're closed on Tuesdays. Finally, Una Pizza Napoletana. Now this one's a little complicated, so I've got notes. First of all, Una Pizza Napoletana is only open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 5 p.m. until they run out of dough, which is usually around 9 to 10 p.m. They open up reservations 2 weeks in advance at exactly 9 a.m. via Resi. They do hold off some tables for walk-ins, but you gotta be there right when the doors open at the beginning of the day, and that line does usually start at least an hour before doors open. Now, Una Pizza Napoletana makes dough 2 to 3 days in advance, and it's a limited number of doughs, which is why each person who walks in the door is eligible for only 1 pizza. If you go on Resi and you don't get the table, you end up on a very long notification list. So if they do have last minute openings, they're gonna go down that list on Resi. So if you live nearby, it's a good idea to just be on that notification list at all times. There are 2 options for private events there. You can do a full restaurant buyout, which can happen on any night that they're not open. And the other thing you can do is if you have more than 4 people, you can book what they call the tavola, the table, a 6 to 8 person table with a prefix menu, and it's basically a one-night buyout for you and a bunch of friends for 1 table. Apps, pizza, desserts are included, drinks are extra. The final piece of advice for getting into Una Pizza Napoletana, and this is the one that's really gonna help you, not just to show up at the beginning of the night, but to show up at the end. And they've already served all the people they needed to serve, but they have 6 doughs left over because they had some tucked along the side in case they made mistakes. You could show up and get one of those 6 dough. But Una Pizza Napoletana, just like all these other pizzerias, are tougher to get into because they're really, really good.